Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of the Refuel 1-week series we're doing. This is part of our Accelerate campaign, and grab your message notes out, or if you're just driving and listening to this, keep your eyes on the road. This is a very exciting passage we're in, and here Jesus is teaching Peter to obey him even when he doesn't understand it all, which is why Peter ends up saying, hey, because you say so, I will. And we're going to give you 4 steps on how to obey God, because the miracle for Peter happened after he obeyed God. Now, obedience doesn't happen to anybody naturally. I mean, even the word we don't like. A buddy of mine's a pastor. His daughter in the Midwest, when she was young, very, very strong-willed girl, and she kept riding her tricycle away from the house where they couldn't see her. So he finally talked to her and said, look, here's the boundaries. Don't go past that. She just kept going past it. So he finally took her, and he walked over, and he drew a chalk mark and on each side. And he said, if you go over that chalk mark, I'm going to have to spank your little bottom. His little girl looked up to him and said, you better spank me now. I'm going over that line. Okay, now that's a strong-willed little girl. Let me ask you a question. Why did this dad not want her to go over the line? Is he like, oh, I just don't like my daughter and I don't want her to have any fun? No, he knew where the boundaries were and he knew where the lines were because it was in her best interest. Every single thing in the Bible, every principle in the Bible is given to you and I so that God can either provide or protect. Everything in here that says, say yes to this is there because God wants to provide for you or to protect you. Everything in here that says, God says, man, say no to that is because he wants to protect you and provide for you. And so we're going to walk into, man, 4 steps for obeying God. So you're provided for, protected, and God works in your future. And the first one is in your outline right here. John, it says, obey God immediately. Obey God immediately. Mark chapter 1, it says, immediately they left their nets and followed him. Joshua 24, choose for yourself this day whom you'll serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. There's nowhere in the Bible where Jesus says, come, follow me, obey me. Tomorrow would be okay. Immediate obedience. I'll give you an example. My children, raising them, they were experts in what we call delayed obedience. And it finally got to the point where if we said, do something, and they didn't do it quick enough, I'd actually go, here, go back over there. We're going to practice this again, okay? Here's what I want you to do. When I say to do it, run and do it immediately, okay? And delayed obedience ends up being disobedience. And I want to give you an example of a time where God cemented this in my life. 1 service out of 6 heard this weekend. I was working when I was in college. I was a poverty-stricken college student, paying my way through college. And Azusa Pacific ended early, so I had a month gap before I started this ministry in the summer. So I took a job, and it was the hardest job I've ever done. It was about a 70, 80-hour-a-week job at a strawberry packing plant. Massive factory, and I'm there, and they're putting these huge pallets of strawberries behind us, and we're dumping these strawberries into this thing that shakes them, washes them, goes on these huge conveyor belts, and a lot of women, mostly Hispanic women, are picking through these strawberries and kind of cleaning them, and then they go into boxes and into stores. And I would generally get there about noon or 1, and then you would work all night, and I'd be leaving there about 6 in the morning, sun's coming up, kind of freaky. I mean, you're going home, sleeping for a few hours, and coming back, and I needed the money so bad, I was working every hour I could get. Well, what would happen is these women, as the strawberries went by them, all night long, they'd be picking out the best strawberries, they'd put them in bags, and then everybody'd kind of take a bag of strawberry home with them. Well, about 2 weeks into this thing, I grab the bag of strawberries. I'm walking out of the strawberry packing plant. I get in my old dilapidated car. The sun's coming up. I'm dead because I put in about a 14-hour day. It's all manual labor. And I start the car, and I'm just getting ready to drive home. And God says to me, hey, are those your strawberries? And I'm going, oh, God, not now. And he says, well, are those your strawberries? Do those strawberries belong to you? I'm going, God, Lord, no, but everybody's doing this. And God says, do those strawberries belong to you? And I said, well, I helped. God says, do they belong to you? And God pretty much said, I want you to obey me. Those strawberries do not belong to you. You're taking something that's not belong to you. I want you to learn to obey me in details and obey me immediately. Go return them. And I'm going, God, look, I'm already out here. I'm dead tired. I don't want to walk through this whole factory to put this bag of strawberries back. How about if I just agree I won't steal any tomorrow? And God said, obey me. And I shut off the car. I dragged myself out of there. I walked the manager of the plant sees me coming the wrong direction. He goes, hey, where are you going? I said, I forgot something. Basically, I forgot to not steal strawberries. So I go back, I put the strawberries down, I go back, I hop in my car, and I don't know any other way to explain this to you except this. I was dead tired and so psyched and happy on the ride home because I'd obeyed God. You know, I discovered two things about obeying God. Nothing is as hard as obeying God immediately, but nothing feels as good as obeying God. Is God calling you to do anything? He calling you to obey Him? My advice is obey Him and obey Him today. Figure out what does God want you to do today. Do it today. It may be hard, but you'll feel better than you've ever felt. God bless you. Keep saying it. Lord, because you say so, I will. Have a great day.